Hey guys, Gary the Gremlin here, but I can't deal with that now because next in this ongoing video series that you should definitely click the playlist for is possibly the biggest outlier on this list. Biggest because he's nearly 10 inches tall. Everybody put your hands together for G.I. Joe Megatron. Before in my life, the only dreams I've ever had come true were dreams where I peed the bed. And then, somehow, miraculously, one of my other dreams came true and Hiss Tank Megatron appeared in my life. I think it's just the idea of a Commander class-sized Megatron that had me really excited about this guy. Because it's just normal Megatron, but massive. And that's also the downside of him, that he is basically just normal Megs, but big. There are so many awkward bits hanging off him, or bits that don't make sense just to achieve that giant broad chest and that normal-looking G1 Megatron look. I should mention, I don't really care about G.I. Joe. If you want a full review of the Baroness figure included with this guy, too bad. I bought him for real cheap because he didn't come with her, and I don't really know anything about her. The best parts of this design are where it varies from the standard Megatron affair. I love the hip-mounted missile pods. They're so cool and aggressive, perfectly fitting for this massive war machine man. As well as the big old shoulders that are just the front of the Hiss Tank. I love that. Also great is the back-mounted turret that can spin around and obliterate whoever is trying to comment that this review is incomplete without the Baroness figure. That head sculpt is straight wholesale lifted from the Siege figure, which is fine by me because I love that figure. Thankfully, something not wholesale lifted is the chest, which has been proportionally toned down and is no longer as wide as it can be. But at the same time, in all this greatness, there are seeds of great darkness. Look at those paltry excuses for feet. You thought Siege Megatron's feet were bad? This guy is all toe and basically nothing else. That's plantar fasciitis if I've ever seen it. And this fusion cannon? It looks laughably small and weak. It's the exact same size as the cannon equipped on Siege Megs, who's around 3 whole inches shorter. And there's also just a massive parts-forming chunk that works as a shield on his other arm. I don't usually use parts forming as a critique. It doesn't usually bother me, but here it does. When combined with how these both just clumsily plug into his wrist, not his arm, it's just another thing that makes him feel so awkward. And there's plain bad posability. Nothing at the ankle, nothing at the wrist, no waist, just bare minimum, which hurts on a figure that was priced at $120, well over Commander price. This is the least posable Megatron in this series, but it's the most expensive. It kills me to think how cool this guy is, and know that a cooler version could have existed if Hasbro had executed him just a little better. Transformation is a bit of a chumbawamba. Interpret that how you will. It was really fun to figure out, but also is extremely clumsy and confused. Most of the process is just heavy chunks of plastic swinging around on thin struts and slamming into place. It's finished with this really sad step where you just take this big gravestone and hide his face away with it. Hiss Tank mode is perfect. I mean, it has to be. It's clearly what the toy was designed around. It's very satisfying to hold. I think it has something to do with it having the vague shape and weight of an American football. Now, I wouldn't know that. I've never held a football, but it looks perfectly like the original Hiss Tank, and that's great. It doesn't really look like a Transformer is in there at all, which should be the highest praise. I would not have minded a big Decepticon symbol somewhere, but the only one to be found is hidden right here in the back above Megatron's hitch. The turret can spin around and the guns can move up and down. This hole can fit an Action Master Grimlock, but not a copy of the 1993 book Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I guess we can't win every day. Kinda silly that the placement for the fusion cannon is to just slap it up there. I've seen much worse weapon placement on other figures, but I'm not used to it with Megatron. The fusion cannon is his whole dealio. I feel out of all characters, he usually gets priority with weapon integration, but here, his shaft seems to have been, shafted. Cockpit opens, and you cannot fit either Action Master Grimlock or a copy of the 1993 book Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. And, I think that really speaks to the laziness and horribleness of this figure. They really should have included a little action figure or something to go in there. Overall, this guy is great, but at a cost of the robot mode. It works better as a toy for G.I. Joe fans who also like Transformers more than the other way. Stay tuned for the next part in this series, and I'll catch you guys later.